Guys, thanks for coming in today. Thanks for
I'm
spending some time.
Thank you. Move him a little bit more front.
Yeah, I don't want to disrespect.
That's my
I don't
guy.
want to disrespect Soups.
Deserves to be in the spotlight.
He does. He does. You guys are heading into season 4 very soon, or are going to unleash it on the world. I think it's bittersweet for fans. I'm not gonna lie. This show has become so beloved. Congrats to you guys. Amazing work on this through the 3 seasons we've seen, and I'm sure the 4th. Before we get into the 4th, I would just love to hear what have been like the most memorable or your favorite or the best responses that you've gotten to this show.
Honestly, just like the simple response from like parents, I think that come up and say like, I watch this with my kids. I think that's kind of cool because I don't know how many shows nowadays families can kind of sit down and watch together really, and everybody kind of gets something out of it. So for me, that's been the cool thing, like the generational thing, and it's been like grandparents and then parents and the kids, just because the Superman fandom goes back so far. So I think being a part of something like that's pretty special.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people just saying that my portrayal sort of embodies the traits of Lois Lane that they respect and admire so much, as far as her determination and her work ethic and how fierce she is. And that's always really lovely because I understand, and Tyler and I have a lot of respect for why these characters are so iconic, and I think the fans know that there is a tremendous amount of respect and that we pour into and love that we pour into our performances, and the writers make it easy for us.
Yeah, I would say last season the breast cancer storyline. We knew it was a risky thing to do if people want to see a story like that in a superhero show. Yeah. And so I think we were a little not hesitant, but just we weren't sure how people react, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. So that's been really rewarding.
And I mean, I think we could do that storyline because we have such a great built-in family. I mean, we have this husband and wife that really love each other in a way that isn't always seen on television, and they're great parents, even though it's hard being a parent. And so that's just been an evergreen in terms of story for us, and we've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that storyline for a second because it was so impactful for so many people. I mean, there are millions of people that are battling cancer at any given time.
Some of the CDC stats that we got after the storyline started airing and after the season had ended, there was a tremendous spike in breast cancer Google searches, a lot of millions of site visits to cancer.org. Wow. And so it was actually literally impactful.
Screenings as well, right?
Yeah, and screenings too. And one of the things that I was always talking about when I was promoting, because I spoke to so many breast cancer survivors leading up to starting to play this, because I really wanted to get it right, and I didn't want it to be like some pretty version of this. And I talked to 11 or 12 women, and some of it was so just ugly and horrifying, their stories, and I would say a full third, maybe a quarter of the women I spoke to had been diagnosed either in their 20s or early 30s. And so the current advice is to start screenings at 40. And I believe they're now changing it to 35 with reason, because breast cancer rates are spiking younger and younger. And so I hadn't, I was probably 40 or 41 when this happened. I had never gotten a mammogram yet. And I'm like, I got to get on that. And I started talking about that in interviews. If your insurance covers it, start getting screened earlier.
There's also, just to piggyback on that, there was a huge spike in cancer groups, like support therapy groups, because Clark went to this, cancer support group. I think, it's a lot of people, they see Clark Kent, they see Superman go to a support group, and it's like, wow, it's an eye-opening thing. So that was really nice to see also. Wow.
Yeah, it's powerful. I mean, you sometimes you forget about the power of mass media in pop culture to have such a profound effect, but that really, really, truly did. Tyler, what you can say, I mean, obviously this was a new Soups, and I think that's one of the reasons fans have just eaten it up so much. Yeah. What were the sort of unique challenges in playing him as Super Dad?
I don't know about the challenges. I think they're more opportunities. I think just, for me, what I really enjoyed is, we still got to kind of do an origin story, but it was for the kids, them finding out who they are. And so to have him be able to be there to support them and usher them through that experience and try to guide them, I think more than challenges, it was just a lot of fresh opportunities. So I really enjoyed that. They constantly gave us great stuff to play with. But I think, making it about the family and making it about the kids really set us up to do something unique with these characters that hadn't been done before, and really kind of got to put our own stamp on things. And I was just really appreciative that that's the direction we got to take things in.
Brent and Todd, when you lay out plans for a series like this, like you're always inevitably you're going to have to zig or you're going to have to zag, right? Now that we're coming up at the end, how would you say the series sort of departed most dramatically from how you guys had envisioned it early on, where you just sort of had to evolve around certain plot lines or characters?
I mean, I think the biggest zigzag was first season.
Yeah.
Like we had written a lot, maybe 11 scripts, maybe. And then, this happens a lot, but maybe not to this extent, but then we went back and started making changes in episode 3.
And there were ripple effects
4,
that changed a lot of things.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we rewrote a lot that season. Ultimately, I think it put us on the right path, though. So that's probably the biggest.
And I mean, I feel like for seasons 3 and season 4, we actually mapped those out pretty in depth before we even brought in the writers. So we had a pretty good idea what we wanted to do. We knew what season 4 was. We broke like a season and a half essentially to get into what the arc is for this season, and pitched it to the network in the studio. And, I think that helped because we always had these things that we were going to hit. You shuffle around a lot during there, and, everybody comes in and adds more stuff, and it gets better. But we had a pretty good spine to those seasons from the beginning.
So that was always the master plan, to go 4 seasons?
No, we actually.
Yeah, we would have loved to have done that season.
Okay.
So when we pitched season 3, we pitched a Luther storyline.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Continued.
But we were like, if in season 3 we decided to only tell a semester of high school because we're like, we're gonna go 7,
forever.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, we honestly, we're like 7 or 8 seasons minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did, for the ending of it, there was an idea that we had talked about how to end the show. And we did an adjustment on that, but it had a lot of the themes in it. And so it was nice because we were able to end the show in something that we had talked about a year or 2 earlier. We thought we would do it on a season 7, and we did it on season 4. But we think it really pays off these 2 characters' journeys in a really satisfying way.
What can you guys tease about season 4? I know you don't want to say too much.
Nothing.
Well, they do the death of Superman, which is awesome and bold, and they went there. And then Lois obviously still has cancer. It's not going to be as much on the forefront like it was season 3 because she is sort of thrown into this world where she's still Doomsday still around, Lex Luthor, and now Superman's gone, and she has to keep her family together and the boys sane. There's the season finale, or the series finale rather, we all watched together at Warner Brothers, and it's a beautiful closure. Everybody was crying. You'll cry. I can guarantee that. But there are multiple deaths, couple surprise cameos.
Okay.
Couple surprise cameos. One not surprise
I'm
cameo.
so nervous right now.
I feel like just keep going. Keep going.
That's all good.
So far, it's fully approved. But I'm just waiting to be like, okay.
There it is. You don't get like a shock if you say
I'm like
do it.
waiting for Todd to start kicking the back of my chair. Yeah.
Tyler, I feel like you've probably talked about this, especially initially coming onto this role, but it's timely now because there's a documentary coming out about Christopher Reeve that I got to see in Cleveland right before going on the set of the film, which is amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's just so illuminating and eye-opening. And speaking of crying, it's going to make everyone bawl their eyes out. So I think it's just a good time to ask, what did you take from the OG? What did you take from Christopher Reeve in approaching this role?
The only thing I can honestly say I took from it is I have friends who knew him well and had parents who knew him very well. All I know is that everything I heard was that he was just the greatest guy. I've never seen any of the original films, and when I got the job very early on, I had a decision to make of either watch everything that's been done and have all that knowledge, or steer clear of it so that I'm not feeling like, okay, maybe I should do that because people like that, or maybe I can't do that because it's already been done. And I know how my mind works, and so I decided to stay away from all of it. And so I told these guys early on, I'm like, look, if we're doing homages, if we're doing anything, like, please let me know, because I've made the decision to just stay away and just make sure I'm doing my own thing. If you guys need me to pivot, if there's anything you need to be aware of, let me know. But I'm just going to do my thing as long as you guys are good with that. And they were very supportive. And so I was told them when we're done with the show, which we now are, I can go back and watch everything. So now I get to go back and watch with like such a great appreciation, and also not the the worry of like, God, am I going to watch something that's going to make me feel like I need to do something or that I can't do anything. So I'm very much looking forward to going back and appreciating all those, and how many doors they open for us and everybody's going to do it afterwards. But like I said, I think for me it was kind of like keeping it simple, like to know that he was just such a stand-up guy. I'm like, you don't need to say anything more. Like, I got it. If that's everybody's takeaway about who he was, then that speaks volumes. So
I'm glad you can finally watch those films now.
me too.